Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to apologize for almost missing the daily streak today. My depression has been really bad, and if you've come by my stream the past week, you notice I've been emotional and stuff like that, and I really don't like being in that state. I don't like showing it. But unfortunately, it's been coming out more and more often, and it's just because the stuff that I'm going through it's not something that I can just kind of, wish away. It's going to be there for a while, and I'm still kind of working on resolving things. But the good news is they did put out some new footage for Kamen Rider Bat War Genesis today, showing some of the Showa Rider changes and some of their, actually not their changes, but their mechanics and stuff. I like how they've got a really nice foundation for really good mechanics and stuff like that. It's getting closer and closer to being on par with Basara, which is what I always thought was great about the Kamen Rider Bat War games. They obviously had a really limited budget. They also have to work under the restrictions of the, whatever Kamen Rider show is on at the time. Like, they can't include everything from that respective show because it's still in production, it's still airing. It's barely halfway through by the time those games come out, but they do a pretty good job of handling it. Like, they put out the DLC for free a couple months later. I believe the first DLC is slated around the time of my birthday. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that on day one because I'll still be going to Californithon. I actually talked to the guys, and it looks like a carpool in a room is being arranged. So I don't know how much it's going to be yet. It may be kind of tight for me to go. But with the stuff that I've been going through, I'm really not going to be talking about it on the mic. I think I need to branch out and make some new friends, and that's really all that I'm after. It's really it's kind of uncertain how many people are actually going to be watching. GDQ, the moment that they turn on their stream, or even an hour before it's on, like, people are already in there stream monstering it up and stuff like that. This marathon that I got accepted to, they don't really have that kind of following yet. I'm not sure what to expect. It may end up being good for the channel, but that's definitely not why I'm going. That's not really the interest I had in going. I just wanted to meet some people from the, Twitch and stuff that I talk to all the time, or I lurk in their streams and stuff like that. That's all I'm really in it for. If I'm able to get a little growth off my channel and stuff, that's great. But yeah, I've said this before in the past. If you go to those marathons and stuff just trying to, lengthen your EP and try to get more popular overnight and stuff, it's probably not going to happen. And that's kind of what I decided. When I got accepted into it and I saw it, I decided to put my games in there and put some time. I put a couple days into the submission. I feel I could have put more time into it, but I was having a pretty crappy week back when the submissions were going out too, unfortunately. But I think I was able to make up with it because I had so much experience with Basara 4 in general. I put, I don't know how many hours. It's got to be over 120 into it, so it wasn't too hard to get out a decent speed run. I will definitely be practicing more as soon as I get the whole, transportation and rooming confirmed. Right now, it seems like it's confirmed, but I haven't heard anything back from the other guys in a few days, so I'm not really sure what to expect. I mean, for me, I don't think it's going to be too expensive for me to go, judging that I live in California. I'm about 2 hours away from the esports arena where it's going to be held, and I think there's going to be a couple other people in the carpool if it actually does go through, if everything works out. I don't think it will be too expensive for me to go. I mean, it'd be cool to just meet people. I meet so many awesome people on Twitch, and I saw someone post on Twitter. It's like, Facebook is full of old friends you have nothing in common with, and the people you talk to on Twitter and Twitch and stuff are complete strangers that you've never met that you have everything in common with. And I've definitely felt like that a lot these past few weeks with the stuff that I've been going through, my emotions, and the things that happened that I'm not really going to be mentioning on the mic. But it's you have a few people that you're still close to, after you grow up and get out of high school and stuff, and then the other people, they might still talk to you, they remember who you are, but you're really not on their radar, and that's kind of what I've been going through. I don't really get to see my real-life friends more than once a year. I think it's pretty crazy that I'm going to be taking 2 trips within the next 3 months. Normally I take 1, but I'm going to be doing 2, and it's going to be tight for me financially, but the good thing is that Californithon, I can't imagine it being that expensive. I looked at, apparently the room rates are pretty low, because obviously, it's just a couple of a couple dozen speedrunners hanging out for a weekend. It's not like a huge anime convention. It's not like Anime Expo or Fanime or anything like that. It looks like the rates are pretty low. Assuming that everything works out, I should be able to go there for pretty cheap, and it works out for me financially because I'm not really spending any money on the channel at all next month that I can think of. The Kamen Rider DLC is going to be free. They have a pretty nice charity gesture going on, because people get pissed off that certain riders aren't playable in there, especially from the currently airing series. It was the same thing with the other two Bat Ride War games. Like, they didn't have the final form for Wizard or Gaim in the game, and they added them a couple months later. So next month, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing. It probably will just be random stuff like this, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the personal stuff that I'm going through. It's just that there's not really anything coming out next month at all that I know of. I might pick up some random small games or maybe something off a sale, but next month's going to be pretty low-key. I'm going to try to draw out Kamen Rider as long as I can. It looks like it's a pretty substantial game. It looks like they've definitely put some more effort into it. They got bodied pretty bad when they tried to make that Kamen Rider Skylanders clone. It didn't do well. It's kind of instantly marked as Kusoge, the shitty game of the year. Apparently it didn't sell well, and I guess they went back to the drawing board and they decided that continuing the Bat Ride War series was a better use of their money and time, and I'm glad that they decided to go back to it. I thought 2 was pretty fun, but it was obviously held back by development issues like budget and time and stuff like that. I thought the load times are awful. I am still kind of on the fence about putting the money into it. I have the money on my account, so chances are I'll get it anyway. The plan B is going to be Odin Sphere, because it looks like that game's pretty import friendly. I'm still kind of on the fence about that too, because June looks like it's going to be a pretty dry month for me as well. We haven't really announced a release date for Ninja Turtles yet. I assume that it's going to be out for that new Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movie or whatever, so I think it's supposed to come out in June. If they both come out, then maybe I'll import it, but the problem with Kamen Rider Bat Ride War Genesis is they've been putting out a lot of nice content for it, but they haven't said anything about the technical aspects of it, and that's definitely something people are going to want to know about. I will definitely put out a review of the PS4 version if I do get it. Like, all the stuff they put out has been 30 FPS. It does look a lot smoother than the last one. Like, Kamen Rider Bat Ride War 2 had the most uneven frame rate. It was uncapped, so it could run at 60, but most of the time it struggled to run at 30. It was really choppy. It was like playing a launch N64 game, like barely 20 FPS, if even that. The footage that they've shown so far has been pretty smooth, but they haven't been very transparent about if the load times and stuff have been fixed. There hasn't been any raw footage of it either. A lot of people want raw footage just to see the game and to see it unedited and stuff like that, but with the Bat Ride War games, it's kind of a hot topic, because people want to know up front what the load times are going to be, if it's going to be tons of loading and stuff like that. It's definitely something they're going to have to work on fixing. I hope that I'm definitely going to be scouring the internet looking for some. Maybe I'll go on like the Nico video streams or something like that, see if someone copped a copy early, and maybe I can get it, maybe I won't. But I'm definitely excited for it. I have played so many of the other franchise Muso games like One Piece and Gundam and stuff like that, and I have like the most casual lacking knowledge in those franchises at all. I've never watched a single episode of One Piece. I watched the Gundam that was on Toonami, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, but I don't know jack about any of that other stuff. Whereas Kamen Rider, I haven't watched as much Kamen Rider as Super Sentai. I've definitely watched way more Super Sentai and regular Power Rangers too than Kamen Rider, but I do know all the characters. I have been I definitely want to watch some more of it these next 10 days. I'm probably going to binge watch Drive to just kind of get my mind off the real life stuff I'm dealing with. So I'm excited for it. Kamen Rider is pretty nice. You can binge watch a whole series of Kamen Rider in like a week. If you do like 5 episodes a day, which is like about an hour and 40 minutes, you can finish a whole series in about a week, 7 or 8 days. So it's definitely pretty cool. I think I'll definitely appreciate it even more once I go back and watch more series. It's just kind of the problem is they're adding a lot of the Showa riders, and it's a lot harder to get hold of subs for those series. You know, the Heisei Rider stuff, all the recent tokusatsu, like talking like the past 15 years, like Kamen Rider Kuga and Time Ranger and all that stuff, Gal Ranger, all the ones around that era, like they've had connections in Japan that you know, hook them up with the Raws, the subgroups and stuff like that. So it's been easier to watch those. But I often get busy with the channel and stuff. I often forget to tune in, and sometimes I just kind of drop the series. I watched Kamen Rider Kabuto. I got about past the halfway point, and I just didn't like it that much. That show had a pretty bad second half, but I'm pretty excited to play as him. He's definitely had the coolest set of powers in the series. So that's what's going on. I may go ahead and pick up Zeros. That's a new beat 'em up that came out earlier today, actually. I'm thinking of getting that. I have a little extra money. I might go ahead and do that, but it's going to be low-key for a while. I need to take some time off and chill, and I think you guys will notice a definite increase in quality once I get Kamen Rider. I'll have some time off. I will still try to put up something every day, but I can't promise it. See you guys later. Peace.